Hi guys, let's see what we got for this week. From last week, I already drew out here a possibility for a divergence, and that's what I'm still looking for, actually, because there is still a green momentum. The REMA bounced, so I would like to see one more up and then a down movement. From the weekly perspective, as we see the daily, there is already started something, but we only got one signal, which is the destroyer, the REMA heading to the downside, and there's still high volume on the VVV. So yeah, actually this is what I would like to see, or even a slower market with up and down sides movements. So up and down, that will be great. We should get the buy signal, and after that sell with the divergence, and then we should go to the downside. Okay, this is the first step. Then we have the NZD from the weekly perspective, and finally it broke down. So the NZD looks like is about to dominate the Australian dollar, and I want to see to go to the downside. Okay. And then on the daily perspective, there is still a red scenario with some divergence in it from the other side, but we can still move to the downside. Here is a little break in the price, but it is still heading down. I would like to see more movement to the downside on daily as well. Okay. Then we have the Euro CHF. The Euro CHF is forming a divergence on daily, which in my opinion should form a couple of days, mostly. Then we could see another up move exact to this point. Okay, it should mean that we're gonna have a 2x2. So that's what I'm looking for. But we are above the zero line with the red momentum and a divergence, and those are mostly the risk-taking trades. We are heading up, and this could form a possible divergence, but right now, as we see the destroyer moving up, the REMA crossed, and fortunately we are still under the zero line, which gives us an indication to the downside. But here I wouldn't go against the momentum in this case. Okay, you see too many differences on weekly and daily perspective, so this could get even on a higher spot, even to the previous point actually, which is far away, like 140 pips from here. And it's not a lot, but it's a lot on Euro CHF. Okay. And almost the same scenario on Euro GBP, but the price is still heading down, but we are above the zero line on daily perspective. So this should form a divergence and go on a higher spot. On weekly basis, we are heading to the zero line. The volume is still rising. We see a beautiful break, or we saw a beautiful break. And the destroyer is also going to the upside. Okay. So that's what I'm expecting also from daily. But it needs a couple of days to validate here this divergence, and after that we can go to the upside. Now the DXY, we saw beautiful divergences. That's exactly what I showed you also in the group. Try to warn you about this. Well, on daily, you could see also something forming, but in the bigger picture, we are still above the zero line. So everything what we now see is actually a correction. Okay, so the price can get lower, but we are still talking about the correction inside the market. Okay, we got a cross on REMA, the destroyer moving to the downside, and the volume goes also to the downside. Okay, on weekly, could not see anything yet, just a red candle actually. But as you see here, the price is moving up and the volume gets lower and lower. And that could be also a sign. But here was something similar happened. As you see, it's a green candle, not the same body, but almost. And it went down one more time. The market got slower, pullback, and another movement. This is what I would expect here as well. But first of all, we need this to break to the downside. And if it breaks, we can heading to the 61 on the fib level. And after that, I would expect another move to the upside. And just a small look on the monthly basis. As you see on monthly basis, we just got a momentum shift with a buy signal, the REMA crossed. So in the long-term run, we should go to the upside. Okay, the CXY also drove here last week, something. I expected here also a divergence. The price went down, but the destroyer didn't move. So this could mean that the price gets a bit slower next week. And after that, I would like to see another movement to the upside. Okay. Here's some structural divergence informing. So yeah, that's what I want to see, but a bit with a slower market. And it just only got a buy signal with high volume levels, and here still some place. So yeah, actually this could go even lower, even to this point, but there will be still divergence right there. Okay, because right now the volume does not follow what's actually happening in the market, and that's always a sign. Okay. Then the AXY was almost the same scenario what we could see on the DXY. There is a huge gap between the two. The price is heading down. But as you see right here, the volume gets lower, and similar what here happened, the volume gets lower and lower, and from nowhere gets one more move, then we could see that movement. This could happen here as well because the volume is high. Okay, when the volume is low, like here, then we usually think about the switch. And also that's what I wanted to see. Here is already forming something, but I wouldn't go right now against the momentum. So as you see here, 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 this is forming. Is actually when we get an aggressive move and there is kind of like divergence. What we can see here is most likely not a valid divergence, but don't have to close out the fact that there is a chance to get their divergence. But it has to form. And if it forms, then I will see another movement to the next level. Okay, which is on the 38. Okay. And like I said, similar thing what here happened, but here was the volume a lot higher. Actually, then you saw a slow movement, but still in green. One more push and then a correction. It could happen the same actually. And in the long term run, what I would like to see is a divergence from this point. So it could go even lower, then a pullback, and after that, the divergence to the downside. So this could be the best scenario, in my opinion. Okay. And I gonna edit here. Let's see if we form something like this. Then the EXY I'm gonna show you the monthly picture. The monthly picture is very interesting because, oops, as you see, and as you know, we are looking for divergences, and here we got a close under the previous close. So this could be, the divergence could be like that, actually. I'm still want to see something like to go to the down for a bit more, which will make a perfect divergence. But right now we have already a divergence forming, and unless it goes on a lower spot and the divergence break, we're gonna see a very nice pullback on the XY, which actually could mean that the interest rates gonna raise the coming month, which didn't happen in the last couple of years. So I'm curious. Okay, here we see a low volume, but still under the zero line. So yeah, there are structural divergences. That's also a side to move. But first of all, we are talking about correction. Okay. Here are also some structural divergence forming. The BXY, the BXY didn't reach the target zone actually, but it was a close call. On the weekly spot, here was the target zone, which is now on a different place because see the fib moving actually with the price. So yeah, it didn't reach the 61. It was close. And now what we can see is forming divergence from this level. Here is on a high. Okay. And the price is here, so this could go even higher, and after that can go low. Of another scenario, the price takes one more step to the downside, which should form a divergence, and that will mean that we're gonna reach a target zone. Okay, so this is a scenario what I want to see. Actually, we are under the zero line, but the volume is rising. But this is a correctional move, still a correctional move. Okay, on weekly basis, still something similar that we can see on the XY. There's a huge gap between the two, so the price is still strong to the downside, not to the upside. Okay, it has place to move, like it happened. See here was a huge gap between the two. It went down, one more up. There was still a huge gap between the two. Went up and then went up, went down and then went up. Okay, Similar thing what I'm looking for. Then we have the SXY. Here's already something forming as the rest of currencies actually on daily basis. But we're still, like I said, under the zero line, same scenario what we could see on the rest. Big gap between the two. The volume here is very high. So yeah, this could go still on a lower spot and just after that a pullback in the market. Okay. The AXY have some structural divergence, but it's messier. Okay, right now we would say that the price has to go up on daily basis. On weekly, there is a low volume, but as you see, the volume didn't broke with the last candle. It was a rising one, rising volume, which could mean that we're gonna have another scenario to the downside. Something similar what here happened. Not the same setup, but something similar. Here, bounce and one more move to the downside. Okay. The zone is marked. I'm waiting for actually. But here is the thing. We can't reject the fact that the daily basis turned into green and that there is a structural divergence. Okay. But as a couple of weeks ago, I still think the Australian dollar is still a mess. And what we could see, it's not a beautiful movement, what's happening right there. So I'm staying away from the AXY and the rest of the AXY currencies. The AXY is a more clear chart. What we could see here was also a pullback, but here is a clear bounce. Also from the zero line, we broke the zero line, we tested a bit on the zero line, and now it looks like goes up. And that's exactly what we see on the Audi NCD, that the NCD is dominating. Okay, it is more clear picture. And this could form actually a divergence. It's yet far away, but this could form a divergence. This is something to start. Actually, the VVV turned green, the volume heading up, and the RMA is almost broken. Okay, so we have here a more clear picture. Then we have the gold. And the gold actually made a pretty beautiful move. And I'm gonna show you something what I was looking for. First of all, I had a trade here. And what I could see that this low didn't want to break. So the candles closed exactly on the low, which means this is a rejection of a zone actually. And then we could see a beautiful bounce and I closed something somewhere here. Okay. And after that, it happened again on the same side. And usually I'm looking for the candle close, but in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, I was looking for more likely the flex fib and how is reacting on the price. And what you could see is reacting on the wicks. And that is not a coincidence. So I was looking to those points when there is a consolidation or something in the market that you see the lowest point and draw the weak side, and those rejections are strong, most likely on gold, what I could see. Okay, and here was my trade. Actually, here was my trade. As you see, there was a divergence. There was a sign from the VVV, which is already formed here, that the price went down, but it stayed in green, formed a divergence. And after that, you see almost the same thing on the Remo. It was a beautiful movement to the upside. And if you miss this one, this move, then comes the Fibo. Like you see, it goes up and goes back to 38 smoothly. And it goes up, it goes back to 61 smoothly. So there were two of those impulses which you could use in the first place. And it was also beautiful structural divergence. Anyway, if you miss this, you had another opportunities to go with a price like that. Okay. So what I would expect from the market is actually a divergence. So a pullback, kind of like see where the low is in the structure and where the destroyer is. This could go even like this. Okay, but let's see first where it stops actually. As you see the weekly picture is not done yet. Like there is a huge gap between the two. The destroyer goes to the downside. There is a rising volume. Yes, but so many things can happen in just 1 week. I think the best example you see here, slow market from nothing and bull candle. But here we have some more possibilities for a couple of 100 pips, actually, as you see on the smaller time frames. It moves up aggressively. In the long term run, I still say that the gold is moving to the downside. You're gonna have some pullbacks, and I would wait for this divergence to form, actually. But right now is kind of like a bit soon because there is still something in the volume. There could be a pullback to 300 pips, yes, but in the long term run, don't forget where we are going. So the sell side is still a lot stronger, even if we're gonna have a pullback. The sell side gonna be stronger, and I am saying that because as you see in the monthly picture, structural divergence, the price is heading down here. The price is heading down actually, and I got a target on 1792, which wasn't hit, actually reached 1811. But we are coming close to the end of the year, and there will be in 2 months and 22 days a new candle forming. And this could mean that if this close bearish, that's exactly what I would like to see, that this is forming a huge divergence, which could mean we're gonna see a pretty huge fall from the gold. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Those are my scenarios. Okay, let's see the economic calendar. Monday, nothing interesting, in my opinion. So just look for the momentum in these cases. Okay. Tuesday, I would say boring. Um, not much liquidity inside. Then we have the Wednesday, the PPY should move the market. It mostly does. Okay. Then Thursday, we're gonna have CPY and jobless claims, which should move the market as well. And then the Friday, gonna have an easy Friday with the Euro CPY and the Michigan for the end of the day. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I see you next week. Have a great weekend or evening, and let's get it. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.